Welcome everyone to today's video of the introduction to the circle of fifths. You may have heard this terminology before, and this is a simplified diagram of the circle of fifths. You may wonder why the circle of fifths is important, and that's what I would like to accomplish today, is to just open your mind to a diagram that shows why the chords move the way that they do in our chord progressions through most Western harmonies and music. In our instance today, let's start with our application of Just a Closer Walk with Thee. And of course, that is in the key of B flat major. As you notice, the major keys are around the outside of the circle of fifths. Inside the circle of fifths are the minor keys. So if we are in Just a Closer Walk with Thee in the key of B flat major on the outside, the inside of the circle shows the minor, and the relative minor of B flat major is G minor. The reason that B flat major has a relative minor is because they share the same key signature. Now, the key signature refers to the number of flats or sharps written in the printed music. So, Just a Closer Walk with Thee in B flat major has two flats. The two flats of B flat major are B flat and E flat. B flat and E flat. So that's why in the printed music of Just a Closer Walk with Thee you see two flats. It is interesting to note that B flat and E flat, the two flats of B flat major, occur within 5 steps of each other in the circle of fifths. So in a circle of fifths, each step around the circle moves by 5 notes. So if B flat is 1, 2 would be C, 3 would be D, 4 would be E flat, and 5 would be F. So by 5s, you move around the circle of fifths. So if you started at B flat, up 5 whole steps, you would come to F. Up 5 steps from F would come C. Up 5 steps from C would come G. Up 5 steps from G would come D. Up 5 steps from D would come A. If we were to take Just a Closer Walk with Thee and start from the beginning of the song, we would start with this chord of B flat, which is our 1 or home tonic key. And the melody would begin with just a closer walk with thee. So the chord would then change to F major. Grant it, Jesus, is my plea. It would come back to B flat major in the music. Daily walking close to thee would change 5 steps up to E flat. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be, returning to the home chord and the home key of B flat. So the reason for the circle of fifths is to merely show us a progression, a predictable graph of where the most used chords move. In the end of Just a Closer Walk with Thee, where we just completed some of the jazz chordal analysis in the previous videos, you might remember when we got to the turnaround, we ended the song in B flat with a chord, and we did the walk down, which came over to G major. Remember the G major 10, and then move to the C major and progress to the F major and returned back home to B flat major. So just let that sink in for a minute. This is our way to predict which way the harmonies will move. Notice that the chords we used were G. You may have heard me refer to it as a G13, to a C, could have been a C9, then to an F, 7, and then over to finish at the B flat major. So our chords can be predicted by moving around the circle step by step. This is applicable in any key. And that's why they created the graph of the circle of fifths, to help us establish and determine and predict which way the customary harmonies will move in our chord progressions. For most folks, it is much easier to start in the key of C major because there are no sharps and no flats. If you have trouble remembering which sharps or flats occur in each key, they created that with the graph as well. If you move from C major with no sharps or flats, one position to the right, up 5 from C is G. So in G major, you will have 1 sharp when you move to the right. Up 5 more to D, you will add another sharp, and the key of D has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Up 5 more from D is the key of A, and it has 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And so on as you progress around the circle of fifths, you add a sharp. Conversely, if you start at C major and you move to the left, you will add a flat. F major has 1 flat, and that flat is B flat. Five steps away from F is B flat. B flat has 2 flats, B flat and E flat. Continuing on to the left, you add another flat in the key signature, and your E flats are B flat, E flat, and A flat, and so on around to the left. This is merely an overview of how the circle of fifths work in chord progressions. In our next video, we will begin to delve a little deeper into the theory behind the actual chording and the analysis of what makes these chords do what they do and sound how they sound. So welcome to the intro of Circle of Fifths.